Los Angeles in the mid-1980s was a city torn by gang violence, drug wars, and urban decay. But something even more sinister lurked in the shadows of South Central. Between 1985 and 2007, a series of murders rocked the community. Young black women disappearing, their lifeless bodies later found in alleys, dumpsters, and dark corners of the city. Each victim was killed in a chillingly similar way: shot in the chest with a small-caliber handgun, then sexually assaulted. The media barely noticed, and the police dismissed the cases, often blaming prostitution or drug use. But the killer was still out there. The killer struck repeatedly, leaving a trail of sorrow and destruction. His victims were often last seen accepting rides in cars late at night. The police eventually linked the murders, calling the unknown predator the Southside Slayer. In 1988, after several brutal killings, the murders seemed to stop. For 14 long years, South Central Los Angeles seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. People thought the nightmare was over. They were wrong. In 2002, the killings resumed with terrifying familiarity. The same pattern. The same brutal efficiency. A criminal analyst noticed the eerie similarity between the new murders and the old cases from the late 80s. But why had the killer vanished for over a decade? The media nicknamed the predator the Grim Sleeper, a chilling reference to his long hiatus. Investigators were desperate for answers, but the killer was always one step ahead until 2007. It was a piece of modern technology that finally shattered the case-wide open DNA profiling. The LAPD launched a massive investigation, collecting thousands of DNA samples from potential suspects. They got a hit, but it wasn't from the killer himself. The DNA belonged to a young man named Christopher Franklin, arrested on a minor weapons charge. His genetic profile was close but not exact to the DNA found on the victims. Investigators realized they were looking for a close male relative. That clue led them straight to Lonnie David Franklin Jr., Christopher's father, a former mechanic, city worker, and family man living a quiet life in South Central Los Angeles. But his dark secret was about to be exposed. In 2010, detectives raided Franklin's home, and what they found was a scene out of a nightmare. His house was filled with horrifying trophies, hundreds of photographs of women, many of them nude, unconscious, or dead. Even more shocking, they discovered a collection of firearms, including the exact type of handgun used in the murders. Among his possessions were Polaroid photos of some of the missing victims, showing them in his car, some taken only hours before their deaths. The evidence was undeniable. Lonnie Franklin Jr. was the Grim Sleeper. Franklin was arrested in July 2010. His trial began in 2016 after years of delays. Prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence, linking him to at least 10 murders, though investigators believe he killed many more, potentially over 25 women. The stories of the victims were heartbreaking: daughters, sisters, and mothers, each with a life cut short by a monster hiding in plain sight. After a grueling trial, Franklin was convicted of 10 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to death. Though Lonnie Franklin Jr. was sentenced to death, he died in prison in 2020 before his execution. His death brought little comfort to the families of the women he murdered. To this day, many believe Franklin was responsible for far more killings than he was convicted of. His house of horrors left scars that can never be healed. The Grim Sleeper's twisted legacy serves as a dark reminder of how a monster can live unnoticed even next door. If this chilling case gripped your curiosity, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to never miss another dark, true crime story. Share this video if you found it intriguing, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, if you dare.